In our old school building, there were quite a few scary stories, but there was one spooky tale that stood out from the rest. It revolved around the top floor toilet next to the arts classroom. During camp, the teachers made sure to warn us students not to use that particular toilet. They spoke seriously, as if something truly sinister hid inside. Of course, there were always a few brave or maybe foolish kids who wanted to challenge the warning. Two of them, Tim and Mike, decided to check out the forbidden toilet. They laughed off the scary stories, thinking it was all just a prank. Tim and Mike cautiously stepped into the cubicle together. As they closed the door behind them, suddenly, a creepy sensation crawled up their spines, making their skin prickle with unease. The air felt heavy and still, creating an unsettling atmosphere. They glanced around nervously, their breaths becoming shallow and rapid. Inside the dimly lit cubicle, shadows flickered on the walls, twisting and contorting, like eerie shapes playing tricks on their eyes. Whispers, barely audible, seemed to float in the air, mingling with the sound of dripping water. Tim's eyes darted to the floor, widening in terror. There, under the small gap beneath the door, he caught a glimpse of worn-out boots. Fear gripped their hearts as they wondered if they had stumbled upon something out of this world. Were they trapped in the clutches of an unseen entity? A sudden gust of icy wind brushed against their cheeks, causing them to shiver. The temperature dropped, making their breaths mist in front of them. The familiar scent of the old school building faded, replaced by a sickening odor of decay, mixed with something far more sinister. Whispers grew louder, swirling around them like a swarm of ghostly murmurs. Unintelligible words filled the cramped space, and the walls of the cubicle seemed to close in, pressing against them, suffocating them in a choking grip. Terrified, Tim and Mike cried out for help, their voices echoing within the confines of the cubicle. But their pleas went unanswered. It felt as if the very walls were absorbing their desperate calls. With trembling hands, they pushed against the door, but it seemed to resist their attempts to escape. Held shut by an unseen force, panic surged through their veins as they fought to break free, their hearts pounding with each futile push. Finally, as if the grip of the unknown briefly relented, the door swung open, and they stumbled out, gasping for air. Their eyes darted around, searching for an explanation, but the corridor lay silent and empty. No trace of the supernatural lingered, only an eerie emptiness. Tim and Mike raced away from the top floor, their legs carrying them as fast as they could go. The experience left an indelible mark on their memories, haunting their dreams with the presence of the unknown. Later, some of us gathered the courage to investigate the top floor toilet ourselves. We climbed the stairs carefully, feeling a heavy sense of something sinister. The door creaked open, revealing an empty cubicle. There were no boots or signs of life. The teachers never went to that floor, and they kept quiet about the reasons behind their warnings. The top floor toilet became off-limits, a whispered legend among the students. Its reputation grew, and many of us decided to avoid it altogether. Even today, the mystery of the boots remains unsolved. The top floor toilet, with its creepy atmosphere, serves as a haunting reminder that some places hold secrets we may never understand. It's a lesson to listen to warnings, as venturing into the unknown can have unforeseen and terrifying consequences. In my elementary school, there was something creepy about the parade square that made our innocent days feel unsettling. It seemed to cast a dark shadow over everything. The school was built around it, with the main building on the west side, the school hall on the north side, and a big open field on the east side. The roads from the south led everyone, students, teachers, and parents, right into the heart of the square. It all began with a terrible incident. One of my classmates had a tragic accident and lost her life. It happened in the parade square one evening when a school bus was speeding. The aftermath was truly haunting. There was a disturbing reminder of what had occurred, a stain of her blood on the ground. It stayed there for days until the cleaners could finally wash it away. From that moment on, a somber atmosphere enveloped the school. Assemblies lost their vibrancy, celebrations were muted, and cautionary measures were implemented. Bright orange cones dotted the square each evening, marking safe areas and forbidden zones, reminding us of the lingering sorrow. But something unsettling lingered. Whispers spread like wildfire, tales of ghostly sightings within the forbidden parade square. Students and teachers spoke in hushed tones of glimpses of a young girl, translucent and ethereal, skipping across the grounds. Teachers dismissed these accounts as overactive imaginations or grief-induced hallucinations. Yet, the stories persisted, passed down from one batch of students to the next, like a ghostly legend. During one ordinary day, our principal addressed the school during the morning assembly. He shared a disconcerting call from a concerned parent who claimed to have narrowly avoided hitting a girl in the parade square. The school reacted with intensified efforts to reinforce road safety rules, implementing stricter procedures. We were required to queue within the school hall, under the watchful eye of a teacher. Physical education classes were banned from the square altogether, as if trying to banish the supernatural presence that seemed to lurk within its confines. But even with the increased vigilance, the unnerving incidents kept happening. Reports continued to trickle in, tales of children seen running and playing in the off-limits parade square. Anonymous calls and mysterious letters arrived sporadically, instilling a sense of unease among the faculty. Teachers took turns monitoring the square, hoping to catch the mischievous culprits in the act. Yet, no tangible evidence could be found, only the lingering sense that something otherworldly loomed in the shadows. It wasn't until the day the old school building underwent extensive renovations that the truth began to unfold. As workers tore up the weathered tiles of the parade square, they stumbled upon a horrifying discovery. A single skeletal finger, hidden beneath the surface. The news spread like wildfire, reaching the ears of both students and teachers. To our surprise, the ghostly sightings suddenly stopped, as if some mysterious link had been broken. The spectral figures that used to haunt the square, engaging in their otherworldly activities, vanished, as if they had found peace. It was as if the discovery of the long-lost finger had resolved the spirit's unrest, fulfilling its purpose. After moving to the new campus, we no longer heard any scary stories or ghostly encounters. However, the memories of those eerie sightings stayed with us, reminding us of the strange things that used to happen in our school. The parade square, once considered haunted, now stood as a solemn reminder of the tragedy and the unexplainable. It was a place where the real world and the spirit world seemed to blend together, creating a mix of sadness and hope. So, let me take you back to my sophomore year of high school. It was during one of those vacant periods when I found myself with some free time to kill. Naturally, my curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to venture into the depths of our school's Eerie basement. You know, the one that's been around since the 1940s and always had this air of mystery about it. Little did I know that this impromptu exploration would turn into a bone-chilling experience I'll never forget. Anyway, I was down there, sifting through old stuff that we could still use for our science lab, when, out of nowhere, the door slammed shut behind me. I'm telling you, it was loud enough to make me drop my flashlight, and all of a sudden, I was plunged into complete darkness. I start feeling around, trying to find my flashlight, but no luck. The darkness is so thick you could cut it with a knife. I can't see a thing, and that's when it hits me. It feels like someone is standing right next to me, breathing down my neck. I swear, the hairs on the back of my neck were standing straight up. It was the creepiest feeling I've ever had. But, hey, I'm not one to back down from a challenge. So, I start feeling my way around, bumping into stuff, tripping over who knows what. It's like a freaking obstacle course in there. After what feels like an eternity, I finally find the stairs. And let me tell you, those rusty, wrought iron stairs weren't exactly the most reliable thing to hold on to. I crawl my way up, my heart pounding like crazy. As I reach the top of the stairs, gasping for breath, a chilling sensation washes over me. I glance to my right, and there it is. A figure, shrouded in darkness, standing still as a statue. My blood runs cold, and a shiver travels down my spine. I can't make out any features, just a looming silhouette in the gloom. It feels like time stands still, and an unsettling silence settles over us. I try to convince myself it's a trick of the dim lighting, my mind playing tricks on me after being trapped in darkness for so long. But deep down, I know there's something horribly wrong about this. My heart races even faster, thumping in my chest as fear grips me like a vice. I want to run, to scream for help, but my body freezes in place. The figure remains motionless, its presence intensifying the unease in the air. It's as if the darkness itself has taken shape, embodying all my deepest fears. I muster the courage to speak, my voice trembling. "Who's there?" But there's no response, only a chilling silence that amplifies the pounding of my heart. The figure seems to loom closer, as if drawing me towards an unknown fate. Panic surges through me, my mind racing with thoughts of escape, but my legs refuse to cooperate. Just as I'm about to lose all hope, a flicker of movement catches my eye. The figure gradually dissipates into thin air, vanishing into the shadows from where it came. Relief floods over me, mingled with lingering terror. I'm left standing there, bewildered and shaken to my core, wondering if what I saw was real or a macabre figment of my imagination. I reach for the door, fumbling around until I find the doorknob, and just like that, I manage to pry it open. The blinding light outside hits me like a punch in the face. I stumble out, gasping for air like a fish out of water. It took me a good hour to get out of that nightmare of a room. It was one hell of an experience, something that still gives me the chills when I think about it. For a whole year after that, I swear I was messed up. The dark scared the living daylights out of me. I'd have these panic attacks, thinking there was someone right behind me, breathing down my neck. But it was just my own ragged breath playing tricks on me. I'll tell you, it was totally gnarly, and it's a moment I hope I never have to relive. Lesson learned, my friend. Old schools with creepy basements are not the kind of places you want to mess around with. There's some serious spooky stuff lurking down there, and if you ever find yourself trapped in the dark, feeling that presence right beside you, well, let's just say you better hope you make it out in one piece.